Okay, so today, right, what we did yesterday was, or till now, is we were able to run things on Windows machine, Linux machine. We were able to run it on AWS EC2 instance. And yesterday we learned about pushing the artifacts to S3 and from EC2 instance, right? And that completes that loop. Okay. Uh, what we have to do today is we have to implement our CI/CD pipeline, right? And for that purpose, we'll be using a CI server called Jenkins, right? Again, the basics of Jenkins is already covered and shared with you, right, in those videos. What we are going to focus is we are directly going to focus on how to create a job. There are two things which you can do in Jenkins. You can create a freestyle job, right, which means you're doing only one thing, right, over here, only one thing, or you could say it has only one stage, right? Or you could create a pipeline. You could create a pipeline where you could have a sequence of stages, right? So here, as part, so this is your product pipeline, right, or a DevOps pipeline, where your stage could be this one, right? Let's say your there could be multiple stages involved. Your whatever you're doing here, right, like the test automation, let's say test, this is the name of the stage. So your stage is here. The first two stages could be build, let's say deploy, right? And maybe here you could deploy it to the prod, right? Something like this. Majorly, you would see these three for sure, right? This after stages, right, can depend on the needs of the project. Now, what we have to do here in the pipeline is, if you see, you have nothing to do here, you have nothing to do here. These two are not your responsibilities. These are the responsibilities. This is definitely the responsibility of your devs. This is the responsibility of your DevOps. This again, right, test, right, is something which you should be trying to owning, right? You should try to own this. It is not that you have to own this. People are there in the team like DevOps and all, right, who really does a lot of what we say heavy lifting, right, as part of this job. Okay, but you should be at least knowing how to run your automation scripts, right? What are the commands to execute them, which we have been seeing from our Linux experience and from the AWS EC2 instance experience, right? So again, I'm focusing, right, when someone says go and implement a CI/CD implementation pipeline, what they are really meaning to you, especially the automation engineers, is to make sure that you are aware what you have to do as part of a test job. Okay, so we will first create the stage itself. Okay, and then we'll try to integrate it with a pipeline. Okay, we do not have these two. Okay, as you know, we do not have these two, so we will use some dummy thing, right? But we will just kind of see like how the experience looks like. Okay. Okay, great. So what we need to do all this, we first of all need Jenkins, right, to be installed on our machine. First thing is this, right? uh, Second of all, we need some basic understanding about Jenkins, although everything is covered, but I will still give some basic understanding about Jenkins. Okay, let us first see. Let me open it up. Okay, so these are the videos for all the Jenkins basic things, right, which you should be knowing, right? But still, I'll be covering some part of it today. So let's see, and let us open the okay, Jenkins. If you go right, Jenkins download and deploy, right, and all this. So you can go and please download this Jenkins from here, right? Use a long term stable version, which is this one, right? You can choose the one which is as per your uh, OS and get started, right? All these steps are shown in these videos. What I will directly do is I will just open up the Jenkins here. So my Jenkins is running on this port 8080. Okay, so this is the dashboard of Jenkins. Now Jenkins is a CI server. Okay, is a CI server. Let me call it as CI server. What does it mean? It means that you wanted to run things, right. What is CI? CI means continuous integration. continuous integration. What is CD? CD, again, C stands for continuous, D stands for deploy, or it is continuous deployment or continuous development, whatever you want to say, right? So although I would say it is deployment mode, right? So it is continuous integration and continuous deployment. Integration means what? Integration as it means summing it up, right? Summing it up or adding more things to the existing part. So let's say, what does it mean? So just giving the reference, right? Again, all these things are covered there, but just for the reference, CI, try to understand. CI means integration, continuous integration. Let's say you have a base, you have a base version of your software. Let's call it as V100.1. Let's say this is the version of the software which you have. Now your developers are working on you have 5 developers who are working, or let's say 2 developers who are working on some features, and they came up with feature 1 and feature 2, right? So now this is the working state of your software. Now they are working on this feature 1 and they came up with a new feature to it. What they will do is, once they have developed it, right, they would like to add it to the existing version of it, right, which is like a delta, let's say delta 1, right? So what is happening here? Your software is evolving as per the time, right? But you want to create the process of evolving more seamless. Okay, you do not want manual intervention in it. You want that you have pipelines in place which can take care of merging your new delta changes, right, to the existing code base based on a lot of checks, right? Based on a lot of checks. Okay, so when you keep on evolving your now if you see, right, once this gets merged, this becomes your base. So let's say, let me give it a version as 100.2. So now this is your base, right? Now if this guy comes and say, okay, I will add my thing, so you're adding a delta 2 to it. So what is happening here is you're adding to this new base of yours, right? Continuous integration, you're continuously adding new things to it. Now this is evolving of your software, right? Second is the deployment, right? Deployment means that, let's say you have the software ready with you, right? Let's say you were here, right? Let's say you were here. After this, you will be like, in the end, you will be 100.3, let's say, right? After merging all this. Now, when you were here, right, it is not like you just have the software with you. You would like to use it, right? You would like to deploy it somewhere. Otherwise, you just have a file, right, which is with this version. It is not deployed. It's sitting in your laptop's folder somewhere. You don't need it, right? You want it to be deployed. So you will create a server, and on the server you will deploy that file, right, and make it running, right, in a web server, in a Tomcat, right, in a UI server, wherever, whatever the project is, right? So you will do it accordingly. Now that portion of deployment, right, it is very easy when I'm saying this, right? Deploying application, right, requires you to build up the underlying infra. You need servers, you need to have what we say, let's say, the configuration of the system to be there, right? Let's say you need to have a 20 GB to 20 GB memory RAM, right? Let's say the latest version of Linux, right? And you need hard disk to be 2 TB and all that, right? So you need that infra. On top of it, you need some softwares which can help you to run your servers on it. Then you need your specific application softwares, right? And after that, right, you need to pull your code, right, your file from somewhere, from your GitHub, or let's say from your Docker repo, right, somewhere, right? You need to pull it up and then bring it here to your setup, and then execute it and make it running in a working state. All of this is a part of deployment, right? Now imagine, right, now imagine like you are working for Facebook, and for Facebook releases, let's say, 100 times new, I mean, it is releasing new things, right, on Facebook 100 times in a single day, right? If this activity was manual, think of the overhead, right, which those guys have to face, right? Now with all this strategy coming in, CI/CD and all, right, what we are trying to target is, we're trying to target to minimize our time to production, right? We are trying to create new things, right, very quickly, and as soon as we have the things ready, we want to get it deployed very soon, right? Now what happens is, you are saying that you want to deploy, but you need to do some validations, right? You need to check, like, okay, I have built something, I've built a software, I need to check whether it is working in a right state or not, right? Is it impacting my existing things or not, right? So there comes our role as a testing engineers, right? We need to have a robust framework or scenarios. I should not say a framework, I should say robust scenarios in place which could be executed right automatically, which can validate whether the new version of things, right, which we have, or the new features which we are getting are working and they are not impacting the existing code base, right? That is what the role of automation testing is, right? Primarily, automation testing focuses majorly on regression only, right? You're checking whether the new changes are not impacting your older things, right? That is what automation is all about. You do target the new features, but you also make sure that the new things should not be hitting the older things, right? Now you know how to do that, right? We know how to create a framework and all, right? And now we also know how to run our framework on a Linux and all that. It's just that we need to understand how to run it using a CI server like Jenkins, right? Which can help us to place all these blocks together and run them seamlessly. Again, the version which I'm going to show you is very basic, right? It's not going to be the one which you feel like, okay, I'm working in a product based company and they're using it as is. No, but what I'm going to show you is the test job, right? This part, this test stage, right? Which you should be knowing for sure. You should be understanding like how it is executed, and that too from the Jenkins flavor only, right? People use, there are hundreds of CI servers, there are hundreds of ways to do it, right? I'm just showing you one of the ways. Okay, so this is what CI/CD is all about. Okay, now when it comes to Jenkins, right? Jenkins, understand, right? Jenkins is just a piece of software, right? It's just a piece of software. It's just a piece of software. Now, when it comes to Jenkins, right, you need to understand a couple of things. Try to understand Jenkins is just like a software which is here, right? And if you would ask him to do something, right, maybe to build a project and all, right, it needs some computing power, right? It needs some computing power to do it. It needs a RAM, it needs a memory, it needs something, right? It needs an underlying machine, right, on which it can execute things. Those machines are called as what? Those are called as agents. These are called as agents, or let me say node agents. Okay, node, do not confuse node with node.js. This is just a terminology. Every physical machine or any virtual machine which Jenkins can use to run things on it is called as node agent, right? Now, when I'm installing Jenkins on my laptop, right, on my laptop, so it automatically gets a inbuilt node agent machine on which it can execute things. And what is that machine? My laptop, right? I have installed this Jenkins on my laptop. This is my laptop, right? So for Jenkins, the software, the by default, the node agent which it gets is an inbuilt node which uses what? Which is meaning what? This laptop only, right? This laptop only. So if I want to do something using Jenkins, it will do what? It will do this on this laptop. But you have a provision where you can add some other agents. Let's say what? Let's say you have on AWS, right? AWS, you have a EC2 machine running somewhere, right, which is a Linux machine. You can connect this EC2 machine, right, to this Jenkins and use this EC2 machine as an agent. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to use this one first, and then I'm going to show you how to work on this part, right? Just for your information. Otherwise, working on this part also suffice. But understanding how this works, right? How you can integrate us and another machine with Jenkins can give you some benefit of understanding like how really the CI/CD thing works. And let me tell you again, right? This integration of EC2 with this Jenkins, right, is not your job. Is not your job, right? It is a job of a DevOps, not yours. But if you know this process also, right, it is very good for you. Okay. By default, you would be given a node agent for sure. You do not have to care about it. If you need a specific node agent with some specific capabilities, you need to just ask your DevOps. Or at least if you're aware about all this, you can have those softwares installed on the provided node agents. Okay, so this is one thing, node agents. Second part, when you work on a Jenkins, right, you create jobs, you create pipelines, right? So what Jenkins do is Jenkins creates a very specific folder, right, within your machine, whatever that machine is, right? It creates a very specific folder. So when things would be running on this inbuilt node, which is my laptop, right, it would create a folder called .jenkins, and per pipeline or per job, right, it will create a folder. Okay. Now these folders which it creates, right, are created per job so that it can isolate the work of one job from another, right? And these things are called as workspaces. So you get a separate workspace for a specific pipeline or a job, right? So that you are not interfering with one another jobs, right? Okay. So node agents, workspace, and I think we are good, right? So these are two things which I really wanted to point out. And again, the third thing is the configuration part, right? Now, like anything else, Jenkins also has a lot of configurations. Jenkins primarily works on plugins. Okay, all of this has been explained. All of this has been explained in these videos, so please do check them. But whatever we have to do it for our job, I'll be walking you through it. Okay, so let's get started. So this is, let me just close it, right? So this is my dashboard of Jenkins. I have logged in, I have created the account, and these are my jobs which I have already created. So let it be. First of all, we'll go to manage Jenkins. Okay, you see on the left hand side, you'll go there. Let me just first show you, right? Ignore this, right? My version of Jenkins is not very new. It is, I think, 6 months old. So that's why it is giving all this. I have not updated my Jenkins. But if you install a new version, you will not see these errors. So first of all, let me show you the notes, right? If you see, let me just delete this one. Okay. Okay, this is, let me just delete this agent. Okay. Okay. And let me enable this one. I have disabled this one. Bring this node back online. Yes. Okay. So now let's say you have just installed your Jenkins, right? What you will see is, if you go to the nodes page, you will see something like this. You will see a built-in node, right? It would be showing you the information as per your underlying infra, right? Which is my laptop in this case, right? Now whatever I will run through Jenkins would be running on this node, which is what? Which is my laptop, right? So let's first run things on my laptop only, right? So this is one thing which you have to do. Make sure that it is running, right? Although you don't have to do anything about it, it is by default running. Second thing which you should be knowing about is the plugins. Okay, everything in Jenkins runs through a plugin. Okay, and most of the plugins, right, which you would require are already installed as part of your installation process. But there are still some plugins which you might require afterwards. Okay, for my case, let us see what all plugins I have installed. I have installed Allure plugin. I have installed Amazon EC2 plugin as an extra thing. What else have I installed? I think these two are the ones which I just installed, nothing else. Okay. Now, if you know, right, Playwright, we have not used Allure report. So again, it is of no use for us, Allure, right? Amazon EC2 would be required once we wanted to use EC2 as a node agent. As of now, I'm not using it, so this is also not required, but I have installed it, right? And there you can see all the other plugins which were already installed here, right? These are the plugins which were installed as per the process of installation of Jenkins, right? By default, these are the recommended plugins. So I just got it installed during the installation. This is the second thing. Third thing, you need to configure the path of lot of different softwares in Jenkins. You need to tell Jenkins where is your Java sitting, where is your Git sitting, where is your Maven sitting, where is your Allure report sitting, where is your Node JS sitting, right? You need to tell all that information. For putting all that value, right, you have to go to the configuration and you have to go into the, I think, tools, right? You will go to the tools And if you would see, right, you see, right, as JDK installations, as of now, so I have okay, I have provided the okay. Let me. I'll have to update these also. Just a second. Okay. Just for your information, right? In the FS Playwright, right? Let me just push it first of all. Get status. Let's add all the commands which I have been executing on Linux, AWS, or today which I'll be executing on Jenkins. All have we have created separate files for it. So you can please go and refer them if you wish to, right? So you will have a source to refer them. Push all. Okay, so this has been pushed. What I was telling you, the local setup, which is the local, right? These, okay. Let me just configure them, right? Now, if you know, right, if as you understand, right, I'm currently trying to run things on my machine because this is my machine which I'm using as a node agent for Jenkins, right? Now, here as I'm telling you, right, Jenkins works on Java. Okay, Jenkins needs Java to be installed. So without Java, Jenkins will not work. Okay. So first of all, we have to give the path of our JDK. The JDK path for me is this one. So I am just pushing it here, right? As per my local system. Okay. So I've enabled this. Git installation. So Git I have already installed, and there is a path which I know, which is this, right? You can get all these paths from your environment variables. Yeah, Anand.
Uh, Akhil, so are these options the Git installation, Gradle installation, Jenkins, the Java installation? These are all already kind of configured, or like they got configured while you were already working with them when you.
No, you have to configure them.
Okay, so this is all an existing configuration, like that was done by you
Yes, yes, yes.
prior to.
Those would.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay,
Since I keep using Jenkins, right, for my job,
yeah.
so this is already set up.
Can
What I'm trying to show you is like you need to make sure that these values are there, right? So what you will do is you will see JDK, and these are all coming because of those plugins which are installed there, right?
okay, okay, okay.
Okay,
So from
because
plugin,
of
these are getting made
so
available.
these sections you are able to see
Okay.
like get JDK. If I just for an example, right, majorly you will see almost everything over there, right? What you might not see is this Allure command line installation. For this, I have installed a plugin myself, right? Similarly, Node.js installation. For this also, right, it is not by default available. I have made that plugin available, and only after that this section came available here.
So the process is you install a plugin from the plugin manager, and then in the tools section you start seeing the options
Right, the path to configure them,
to the yeah. Okay.
right? But by default, well, as I'm saying, when you install Jenkins, you will see almost majorly of them. Okay. So one or two which you know which you really need and are not there. For that, you will have to go and search for a plugin which can help you there. Find the plugin, then search it in Jenkins and install it. And once you do it, you will see those sections here. Okay. Okay. So here I was, and I'm giving the path as per my current node agent, which is what? Which is my laptop. Once I will be working on EC2, right? I will be again coming here and updating them. So Apache Maven. Apache Maven is this. I think I have already updated this. Node.js. Node 22 is this one. Let me grab it actually and place it somewhere.
Okay, once you set up this again, can you show the option where exactly in the manage Jenkins is this tools option is?
Yeah. C program files and layers. Node 22. I do not wait this one. Not right now. Let's focus. And layer is fine and everything else is fine. I'm not using Gradle and Nine, so I have not configured them. I'll be using Git. I'll be using Java. I am not even using Maven, so I don't care. But it is already configured. I need Node.js, but we'll see. And Allure is there, right? So let's save this. Okay. So if you go to Manage Jenkins, right, on the left hand side, you will come down now and you will see tools. This is the section. Okay.
Okay, in system configuration,
Mm-hmm.
oh,
Tools, right?
tools. Okay, okay, got it.
Okay. Great. Okay. Going back. Now, what we have done is let me just put a check here, right? What we have
Uh,
done is
what is this Jenkins version that you have?
mine is an older one actually. What is the version? I'll have to check. Latest version is this. What I have is I believe 2.462.3.
Okay, and the
Latest
latest.
one is 2.5, right?
So,
2.504.
okay, just a quick question. So, if you just want to switch to this latest one, you will
Mm-hmm.
just go and download and like it's just
See,
like a
there's an
click.
option, right? Upgrade automatically. So you can click on it and it can upgrade it for you.
Where is it?
This one, right?
Uh, 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 your screen is where exactly are you clicking? I cannot see it.
You cannot see my screen.
Oh, okay, okay. I actually had zoomed in. Okay, upgrade automatically.
Yeah.
Okay, so this
Right?
will take care of all the dependencies and everything, right?
Yes. Majorly of them, right? If something is not still working, you will have to go and fix it yourself.
Okay, and if you don't want to go through this option, then what are the other ways
Other
to?
option is to remove everything and install the new version of Jenkins from scratch.
Oh, we have to remove all the other
You will
plugins.
have to download. No, you don't need to do anything else. You just go and uninstall Jenkins right from your program manager, and then go and install this again.
And then the other plugins and all everything will come in place.
No, you will have to whatever extra has to be added. You will have to do it again,
Oh, okay, okay,
right?
okay. So for an upgrade, manual upgrade, we have to like kind of do it from right kind
It's
of
it's more like it's
scratch.
more like it's like a new installation itself, right?
Okay, okay, understood.
Okay, so going back now, right? So what we have covered is I told you about plugins, like why plugins important. We saw about configurations, like configuration. When I say configuration, about tools configuration, right? We also talked about. I also talked about the node agents. Yeah,
Can we have two instances of Jenkins running on a same machine?
no, you can't.
Okay,
I see. I have not tried it. Maybe you would be able to do it, but you would need to give different ports to it,
okay. So they should
right?
be just running on different ports.
Right. I think I'm running on 8080, so maybe you can start up a new Jenkins server which could be using 8081 or maybe some other port, and it might work. But yes, I have not tried it,
Okay,
and you would not need it. I don't see a use case where you might want it.
no. Okay, okay,
Okay,
okay. Yeah,
because single Jenkins is sufficient to run your things right under different pipelines. So that is the job of that is the role of Jenkins, right? So you do not need two Jenkins to support your work. A single Jenkins can have a lot of different jobs within it.
got it.
Okay, okay. So coming back, right? So works. Okay, so let's start doing things, right? Now we'll talk about projects. So I told you, right, there are two different types of projects which we are interested. One is a freestyle project, and second is a pipeline. Let us see a freestyle project. So we'll go to new item. So we are on dashboard. Okay, we are on the dashboard. We'll go to the new item. We'll come here and give a name to our project, and let's give it a name as FS Playwright. Let me write here FS Playwright a job. Okay, so let's say FS Playwright bootcamp freestyle job, and this is the type of project which I will select. Okay, once you select and click on OK, you will see the a project is created here, right? You see this name, right? You can just go to the dashboard and you will see all your projects here. Okay, on the dashboard. The one which I created is this one, right? FS Playwright Bootcamp Freestyle. Now it is just an empty project. We'll have to configure it. Let's go there. If you see on the left hand side, there's an option called configure. Now here, what we'll do is we'll have to tell what exactly we want this job to do, right? What do we want to do? See, it's a freestyle project, right? Freestyle project means it will have only one stage, okay? And you can tell what that stage will do. What I will do in this case is I will just make sure that it is able to clone my repo from the Git and run it on my local machine, okay? That is the objective which I am trying to serve here. First of all, again, all these parameters, right, are of no use. The first ones, right, at least for our purpose. But again, I've tried to explain them in those videos, so please you can check. But what I will do is just for the handy part, I will just stick this up, right, and give a project URL of my GitHub account. So what I will do is uh, uh, let me log in to my account and get the URL of it. This is the repository. Press Playwright, and this is the URL of my GitHub project, right? So I'll take this up and give it here, right? Now, as soon as I give it here, right, let me save this. If you see, right, there is a GitHub icon now on this job. If you click on it, it will just go, okay. It does not have the access, that's why it is saying this. I'll configure it, okay? I'll configure it and then it will work. But if you see, right, it was when I'm clicking on it, right, it is trying to go to the URL of GitHub. So it's just like a shortcut for you to view like what project are you working on. That's it. Okay, just a handy way to reach to the UI of your project. That's it. But again, it is just for the custom, or let's say some UI feature which does not add any value to your job. Okay, it's just a way for you to see the project itself. Okay, you can give any description to it. Let me give a good description. Freestyle pro job, freestyle job to run automation playwright framework on local machine. Okay, okay, great. So we'll go down. Source code management. Where is my source code sitting? It is sitting inside the GitHub. So I'll say Git, right? So I have to use, again, GitHub is just a repository, right? A third party provider who's giving me some space to store the my code, right? But what I'll be using is I'll be using Git, right, to interact with it and fetch everything, right? So now I have to select Git here, right? And then I have to give a repository URL. Here you have to give your cloning URL path. What is that? Is this one. Okay. Now again, HTTPS will not work, first of all, right? As I said earlier also, right? GitHub has banned using HTTPS URL to be consumed while you want to clone the repo through the CI servers. It will never allow. Okay, so the only option you have is through SSH. Now, when I'm saying this, it also means that if you want to interact with SSH, and since it's a private repo, you will have to take care of that public private key. So that is also required to be configured in Jenkins. So we'll do that also. Okay, let me copy this. And if I place it here, you will
Is
see
it
it.
just for the GitHub repositories or even Bitbucket or any other
I think for
repository?
everyone. I think for everyone. No
Okay.
one doesn't. No one allows you to do it for HTTPS anymore. Everyone wants you to do with the SSH part.
Okay.
Although I've not tried, but I believe that is the case. Okay. Okay. So now, since you see, right, it is giving me now it needs a credentials, right? It needs a credential. So you will have to configure that. Okay. Now understand this concept again, right? We have been doing this. We have done this twice already. Let me do one more. Now we have to do it for Jenkins also. Now see that what we have is what we are talking about. We're talking about, yeah, here. So what we have is, see, we have a GitHub account. We have a GitHub account which is private, right? Which is private, and I have a repo here, which for which I have a SSH URL. Right? This is Jenkins. This is Jenkins. Earlier we were using a Linux machine. After that we were using EC2 instance, right? When you're trying to access this GitHub account, which is a private thing, right? From here, right? From here, what we needed was we have to configure SSH keygen, right? Which was generating one public key and one private key, correct? Public key we were pushing it to here, right, in the settings of GitHub, so that it is aware like who can access you, and private key we were keeping in the Linux. Same system was happening with EC2. You were keeping public key, you were generating both the keys and pushing your public key to the GitHub and private key into the EC2. Same stuff needs to be done in the Jenkins also. You will generate a key and do what? Place your private key here in Jenkins and your public key here. And once you have this setup ready, you can now then go and clone the repo. Okay. So there is no difference. The way to configure it is the what you have to learn, right? So what you'll do is you will click on add Jenkins. Now here, right, it is saying Jenkins credentials provider. There are a lot of options. So you will say global credentials unrestricted, which is fine. We want to choose SSH username with private key. Okay. Now, if you do this, let me open the project also. So settings, GPG keys. There are, okay, WDI. Okay, leave it. Let me delete this, and let's leave this also. Let's create a new key. Okay, here I will give the key, but for that I'll have to generate the key. Right now, to generate the keys, what I will do is, okay. See, again, what you can do is you can go and generate the keys using the process is what? You'll have to generate both the keys, public and private. What I will do is I will generate the keys on my laptop here, right? Doing what? By just typing SSH hyphen keygen, and it will generate my both the keys, right? SSH keygen, right? If I hit it, it will generate my public and private key. But I have already done that, and I already have those keys with me, right? So what I'll do is I'll come here and I will go to my root location. Let us see, what do I have here? Okay, ls does not work on this. This is the command prompt. No worries. We'll go here. SSH folder. If you see, right, this SSH folder is where this is under C users dot SSH, right? And these are my, this is my public key, this is my private key. Okay. Now private key is here. I need to keep my public key, right? So let me just configure it, right? You know the drill. What we'll do is I'll just open it up. Open with Notepad. Okay. And let me copy this. And I will do what? I will go here and I will just put it here and just give a title to it. This is what I will say. This is Jenkins. Jenkins Jenkins key, let's say, right? And I will add SSH. Use passkey, continue, and it will be able to do it, right? So this is done. Now I need, so public key has been pushed to the GitHub. What I need to do now is I need to push my private key, which is this one, right? This one, and I need to copy this and make it available here, right? Okay, what is the name with the username? Since I'm trying to access my GitHub account, right there, the username which I have is the pod test. Okay, pod test. So I am using that name. Okay, pod test again. So let me just put pod test. Although I believe you can give any username, but still, I'm just giving the username as per my account over there, right? So let me just now paste my private key here, right? Whatever the private key I had, and now I will just say add. Okay, it has been added. So if you would go and check, let me just refresh the page. Let me just save it and go to configure. Oh, I have not deleted those two keys, right? That's why they are showing up. Okay. So, okay, let me just tell you, right, what we have to do. We'll go to the dashboard, go to the Manage Jenkins. You can see all your credentials from this page. We'll go here, come down to the credentials here, right? Credentials, right? You see all three here, right? The one which I created is which one? I'll have to check actually. So this has already been used, so this is not the one. Let me just delete this. And EC2 user again, right? I don't need this as of now, so let me delete this one also. This is the one which I have created, okay? This is the one which I have created right now. Okay. So now I only have one key. So I'm going to the project, going to configure, and now if you see, I have only one, right? So I'll select this up. Okay. Okay, great. You can see the error is gone. Okay, the error is gone. Now, okay, which branch I want to work on? I want to work on day 27 branch, let's say, right? This is the day 27 branch. So let's look at the branch day 27. Okay, day 27, right? Let me copy this from here and tell which branch it needs to clone, right? So I've given day 27. What next? Okay, build steps, right? Let me first save this file. Okay, now what we have done, let's understand the process, right? On your Linux or EC2 machine, right? On your Linux or EC2 machine, what did you do? What did you do, right? Or let me say Linux machine. What did you do? First of all, you created a machine, right? In my case, when I'm using Jenkins, what we have is we already have an inbuilt node, right? So I don't have to create it. An inbuilt node, which is my Windows machine, right? So I'm running things on my Windows right now. Okay. So I have a machine which has the hardware, right? Hardware. So it is already there. Okay. It is already there. I'm using this part. Now what I need next is I'm planning to run my Playwright framework, right? Now to do that, what all softwares do I need? I need to have Git. I need to have, let's say, Java to run Jenkins. I need to run Node, right? I need to have Node.js, right? What else? Git, Java, Node, right? Let's say these are the three important things which I need. And I have all three already on my Windows, right? It is already installed. I don't have to install it again. For that, I have just told Jenkins where is the path where these softwares are installed. Okay, so this part is done. This part is done. The second job which I need to do is I need to clone my project. Clone the project. Right? That is what I do in EC2 and Linux also, right? Clone the project. Now for doing that, I have just configured my job, right? Told him where to get the project from. So I've configured it. All that information, right? This is the part which we'll do. And I've told which branch to clone. Okay. So this part is also done. Cloning of the project. So now if you understand, after this, right, I will have the project. Okay. Now, one more thing, right? If you see, this is the name of the, yeah, Hassan, please.
Hi, Akhil. So you're cloning the project from the Git, right?
Yes, from the GitHub.
So then the private and the public key. So you have to set up the private key in Jenkins. So like the setup it has to be between not with the local machine, but the public and private key needs to be in between the GitHub and the Jenkins.
Right. So that is what we did, right? We pushed our public key. We see you can generate those keys on any machine. Okay, you can
Mm.
generate those keys on any machine, on my laptop, on your laptop, on someone else's laptop, right? Whatever it is, but you need to have that combination of public and private key both with you, right? So I
Mm.
have both the combination. What I did, I placed that public key of from that combination on the GitHub, and the private key of that combination on my Jenkins by configuring the credentials, right? Now, whenever Jenkins will try to hit the URL of this GitHub, right, with that private key, and it reaches to the GitHub, GitHub will check it against the public key which it has, and it will match, right? So it will grant the access. Understanding?
Got it. Got it. Clear.
Okay. Okay. What else I was saying? Okay. So cloning of the project, right? So this we have already done. Okay. If you remember, right, in your EC2 Linux also, right, we created a hardware, then we installed all our softwares, Java, Git, Node, right, whatever we need, right, we installed all of them. Then we cloned the project. After cloning of the project, what we did, we get everything right. We have this entire thing with us. What do we need? We then need to do npm install. After that, what we do, we then go and install npx playwright install, which will bring all our custom framework or what we should say, browsers, right, from playwright install. And once we have all this, we just go and run our playwright framework, playwright test project, chrome test, right? That is what we do. Agree? Now these are the three things which are pending to be done on our job also, right? So we'll do all of this now. Now, since we are using Windows, right? So currently what is being used is the Windows machine, right? So it is not a Linux machine, right? So in the case of Windows, if you have to run a script, right? Here the concept works on a batch file, right? Not on a shell file. It's a batch file. Okay. So what we'll do is, whatever steps you have to take, right, after cloning the project, you will go in the build steps here, right, and select that you wanted to run things on the Windows batch command. So just type it here, right, and now I will write all my commands. What are my commands? Npm install. After this, I want to run the next command, which is what? npx playwright install. Okay. What about the browser, the Chrome browser, right, which you keep installing? Since I'm using my Windows machine, it is already installed. Okay, it is already installed, so I don't have to install it specifically. But when we'll work on Linux machines, right, I would need to make sure that machines already have that Chrome browser, right, that branded one already existing there. Okay. The next command is what? npx playwright test project equals to Chrome test. So this is my command, and I need to save this. Okay, great. Let's try to run it and see whether it works or not. Build now. Okay. Now go. This is your what we say. What do we call it as? Job, right? Which is running. If you see here, right, get into a habit of reading the entire logs of your job at least once, right? If you see, right, starting by user intelligence system building in workspace. If you see, right, Jenkins has its own workspace folder, right? And inside that workspace folder, it created a new folder called with this name, which is same as my job's name, right? So that it can isolate the work of this job from the other jobs. Let us go and search it there, right? What it did over there. System is getting slow. Let's hit it, right? If you see, right, this is the folder, and you can see it was able to clone my repo. You can see it has cloned all of that, right, from my GitHub, and this is all reflected here also, right? You can see it is using these credentials, cloning the Git repo. It is cloning this repo, right? And if you would see, You can see the last commit message which it has to do, and it is cloning this branch. After this, right, you can see it is trying to run, right? You can see if I show you the commands, see npm install. Where is npm install? This is the command which is running, right? As because of the npm install, first this command ran and it installed all the packages, and there would be a node module folder here, right? Let's see, do we have it? Yes, we got the node module folder. After that, right, it would have installed npx playwright install, and this would have installed all the, what we say, all the required browsers, right, custom browsers which playwright provides. And after that, it went ahead and executed my project, right? And you can see, right, it was able to read it, right, and it is able to execute this. Okay, why it is printing it twice? Is it running two test cases or what? Or this just got repeated? Okay, let me see what is happening. Let's go there and see our files. Let's very quickly observe our playwright config file. What do we have it there? We have headless s2, which is okay, and we are running on Chrome test, which is also fine. Yes, it should work. Let me just come out of this. If you see, right, it is able to get the data from the screen, which is for sure. Okay, I think I know the problem. The application is not in the right state actually. Failure, right? I understand what is happening wrong. My application is not in the right state. Let me bring it in the right state. I'll go here, check out, and if you see, right, I am here. Let me just complete this flow first. Okay, so this is done. This is done. Okay, this is done. Now let me trigger it again. Let's go here and run again. Console output. You can see how quickly it went here. Since everything is running in headless mode, right? It is running it one test using one worker. So everything which you were doing, which you do on a Windows machine, Linux, on any other machine, right? You're just trying to bring all of that into a single job, and my only job is to now go and play it, right? Or configure it somehow so that it can itself play. Maybe you can schedule it, you can run it on demand, or you could configure it to run on a particular event. Let's say someone made a check-in, right, or a check-in of a new piece of code into the software. You want to configure it accordingly, right? So let's see, right? It says pro data is this. Let's just wait for this to finish. Okay. Why is it printing twice? That is something which I'll have to see.
Is it running on multiple browsers?
No, I don't think so. It is running on a single browser only. You see, running one test using one worker. Let it complete. This time I will open the report also to see what is happening. It's success, right? It says finish success. Okay. This time it was successful. Let us see the report, right? So it is green. What we'll do is we'll go to that folder, right? We have not configured here, right, to generate the report right now. Okay, we have not done it. We can do it if you wish like, but I have a better way to deal with it, so I'll show you that way. But let's first go here, right? This is our project, right? If you would see, go inside. Let me just refresh it. You see Playwright report now, right? What we'll do is we'll open a command prompt. Let's say npx playwright show report. Let's see what happens. Okay, if you see, right, this is the test case which has ran. Okay, why it retried itself? It retried at what location, at what part? Let us see. Somewhere it has to retry again. Why it retried? Let's see in our video. It is logging. It is going there. It will hit M green quantity. It clicked on it. Moving ahead, view card. It will move there. Checkout. After checkout, it is here, and we are filling all the details. We have selected. We moved ahead, and now it has clicked on here, right? The no, it did not retry it, right? Why is it saying it has retried? It is slower. I can understand that it is slower. Test timeout. Okay. It is timed out because it exceeded this 40 seconds that 40 second of timeout which we have configured for every test case to take, right? So that is the only problem. That's why it is saying like this. We can just increase the time and it should be sufficient, right? You can see all the steps have passed. Okay. Now, if you would ask me, right? If you would ask me, okay, generating of the report, right? This generating it on the UI is one thing. Okay, you can configure here itself if you wish to do it, but that would not be a good way. What you can do at max is you would like to preserve this artifact, this output artifact which you have with you, which is this folder, right? And the best way, which I told you last time also, is to push this entire folder to the S3 bucket on AWS. Okay, because that will be persistent then. Okay, so as of now, when running it from a local machine, this job, whatever it is doing, it is sufficient for us. Okay, it is sufficient for us. The way it is doing. Let me just do it again. Let me just show you again. I don't know why it is very slow. Right. So we just ran this command. Now, if you see, right, this is only one stage of the entire pipeline. If you just want to create one stage, this is the job which you will use. Freestyle project. Now, this will not suffice my need. I want to create a pipeline. How will I do it? Go to dashboard, click on new item, and let's create a new project called FS Playwright, and we'll call it as pipeline. Okay, pipeline, FS Playwright pipeline, and here I will select this pipeline project and click OK. When you do this again, you can configure your GitHub project. Okay, you remember last time when we were doing, right, it was failing. Let's just leave this and come to this freestyle project, and here if I click on GitHub this time, oh, it is still failing. Why? Because it's a private repo. No, it should not be failing because of that. Okay, maybe yes, it is failing because of this. Okay, so as of now, this is not of any value, right?
Try to log out and log in again for the changes to take place.
From the Jenkins,
Yeah.
I can do it, right? But again, it is just for the customary part. If it works, great. If it does not work, then also I'm fine. Okay. But yeah, I can log out and try it. But I don't want to do it as of now. Let's just complete this pipeline part. Okay. So what I'll do is this is the pipeline which I created, right? If you see, right, it is very different to what you were seeing earlier. If I open it, let me just open it in the right mode. Compare both the jobs. Oh, sorry, not manage Jenkins. Freestyle job. You go and configure it, right? See the sections which you see here and there. You have a general section, you have a general section in this also. Here you had a source code management, right, where you could configure. In this case, you do not have any such section. Okay, everything has to be written in the form of this Groovy script. Here, Groovy scripts works. Now, do we need to learn Groovy scripts? Not. We don't need to learn. Okay, we don't need to learn. We have a helping utility here called pipeline syntax, which can help us with our syntax creation. Or you can just Google and get the code, right? Or use AI to do it. If you see other sections, right, build triggers, build environment, build steps, and all this are what there, but we don't need any of this. Now, what we'll do is we will we'll just directly come to this pipeline section, right, and try to create a pipeline. Our pipeline will look like this. Okay, I will create a dummy pipeline. Our pipeline will have three stages: stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. Now these two, I'll just give it for the name purpose of name. I'll call it as build. Let's say deploy, right? And here this would be the test one. Okay. Now, what is the purpose of a pipeline? See, the purpose of the pipeline is if this is stage 1, this is stage 2, stage 3, right? If stage 1 fails, right? If stage 1 fails, you would not want to run these two, right? These are pipelines, right? So if this is passed, only then go to stage 2 run, right? If let's say this fail, right, then this will not work. But if this is passed, then it will go and trigger this, right? And now, based on the status of if any of these fails, your pipeline fails, right? And majorly, if your S3 fails, right, this is your indicator, which is your test stage, right? There is an indicator that something is wrong with your application and someone needs to go and fix it. So what people will do is they will just open up your executed job, right, and go inside this, check the logs, see the report, and then understand from there what went wrong, and then go and fix it in the application and provide a new fix. And as soon as they provide a new fix, a new pipeline will be triggered, right, with all the three stages again, where the build code will have the fix and it will generate a new build, where once it is deployed, then you can test your same test case on the deployed version of it. And this time, if it works, it indicates yes, the fix which the developer provided has worked and it works fine. Okay, so let's try to do this, right? Again, I do not have these two with me, right? So I'll just put it like a dummy thing, but just for your understanding purpose, let us try to do it. So we are here, right? Now you do not have to create by yourself. I'll try some sample pipeline, which is I'll do what? Let's say hello world. Okay, so this is the syntax of the pipeline of which you will have to create pipeline agent, right? You see it, I'm saying any. As of now, I have only one agent, which is built-in agent, right? That node agent of my Windows machine. So I'm choosing any, and this is again, if you want to learn all this again, right, in deep, at least this scripting part, because this is comes from Groovy and this is the other part. So I would recommend you to please go and check your Jenkins official documentation, right? But for your understanding, what you need to understand is that this is the most important part, right? You need to create stages. The first stage says hello, right? I will call it as build. I will say build, and within the stage, right, you can create steps. So I'm going to do what? I'm creating steps here, and this is a dummy thing, right? So I'll just say software got build. Okay. So this will get printed on the screen. Now I want to create next stage. I'll copy this up. Okay, next stage, I will call it as deploy. Deploy. Build software got deployed on, let's say, on the server, right? Now here comes our part. We'll create our stage, which is the test stage. Now in the test stage, right, we do not need this dummy thing, so let's remove it. What we need is, again, try to understand, right? The agent machine, right? The agent machine already should have the hardware and the required softwares with it, right? Which my Windows machine already has. So I don't need to worry about it. What I need to be worried is cloning of the project, which I have not configured in this job already, right? We can see. There was no section on top to clone the project. So I need to do it through this script. Now what to write here to clone, right? What to write here to clone. Now for doing that, you have a helper, pipeline syntax. Click on it. Now this is your pipeline syntax generator. You can just first of all select what kind of step you want to take. I want to work on the Git part, right? So I will search Git. You see Git here, search Git. Now, if you remember, right, this is same as what you were doing in this job, right? The freestyle job. You need to give the URL here. Let me give the URL. URL is here, right? Copy the URL. So the URL, which branch I want to work on? I want to work on Day7 branch. Okay. Again, it is giving an error because I have not selected the credentials. The credentials were here, right? Okay. Again, you can just ignore it, and I will say generate pipeline syntax. You can see it has generated the code for me. I'll just copy this up, come to my pipeline, and add it here. That's it. So this will do what? This will clone the repo, right? Clone the repo inside the this folder, right, which will be created in the workspace of Jenkins in my local. Okay, the next thing, what I have to do next is I need to run my the same commands, right, which I was running here, which was what, which is this command, right? But I cannot just go and copy and paste it here. No, I can't do this. If I do this, it will fail. Why? Because since I am using my Windows machine, right, it will have to be run in a file, and in a file you will have to use, since it's a Windows machine, right, I will have to use batch, Windows batch script. So select this and copy paste the command here and type here generate pipeline syntax, and this is what you got. If you just look at it, it did what? It just added bat and put everything in single quote like this, in a single quote, right? Let's just copy this and place it here. Okay, now my pipeline looks fine, and it has 3 stages: build, deploy, test. Again, I'm saying, right, these are dummy things, right? Because since being a QA, right, I do not care about them, right? Now you can try to replicate this in your case, right? Let's say your project already has a pipeline already there, right, created by DevOps and the dev people. What they're asking now is, so they have already configured their build stage, they have already configured their deploy stage. Now they are reaching out to you. Okay, now Gunjesh, please go and update your automation suite in our pipeline. So what you will do is, they are basically asking you to integrate your test automation step, right, as part of the existing pipeline. So what you will do is, you will create your own stage, right, and go to the steps and do all the necessary steps which are required for your framework to run. Okay, and this is what exactly I'm doing, right? And this is what your role is when it comes to attach your stage of automation into an existing pipeline. No one is going to come and ask you, okay, go and create a new pipeline, right, for the entire project. No, that is not your job. Your job is to make sure that your automation suite runs definitely on this stuff. Whatever it needs to work on, right, it is your responsibility to make sure that it is there available on that node agent, right? Since I'm using on Windows, so I do not have to care about that either as of now. But once I start using EC2 machine, we will see like that we need to do all of that also. Okay, so let's just go and run this. Let's save this, and now let's trigger this. Build now. Let's go to the pipeline console output. If you see, right, this is the new workspace which it created for this. Let's go there and find it out. You see, it was able to clone the project and a new folder for it. See here, the build stage, right? It is running the build stage and it got built. Deploy stage, it ran it, and then it went to the test stage, right? on the test stage, it is still executing, right? It was able to clone the repo, and now it is running this command. Npm install is done, so it has added the packages. Now it would be trying to install the Playwright. When I say it is installing the custom browsers, right? And now after that, right, once we're done, it will be going to run all this. Let's do it. It started executing. Okay, it says pass, right? It says pass and it has worked. Again, the same thing, right? You will go to the folder. This is my folder, right? And I can go and see my report. Npx. The way which I'm trying to access the report is only because I'm currently running on my Windows machine, right? Once I'll run it on my EC2 instance, what I will do there is I will push this repo, right? Push this Playwright report to the S3 bucket, and I will enable static website hosting over there, and I will have the URL directly, right? And I will just keep on hitting that URL again and again. Okay, so this port is already taken. That's what it is saying. Let me just close this port. Yes. Let's run it again. So you can see the report, right? Okay. So everything worked fine. Okay, fine. The last part, right? Should I do it? Let us try to do it. Although it's the EC2 part, right? I want to do it, but it will take time. I don't want to take time. Okay, let's wrap it up here, right? Because it will not be completed in 15-20 minutes. I will need an hour to do so. So let's do it tomorrow, okay? So what we'll do tomorrow is we will run all the setup, right? Again, not on the local agent, but rather on the EC2 agent, right? EC2 agent, and over there I will push my uh, the artifacts, right, to the S3 bucket from there itself. Okay, so that is the last part pending in our CI/CD in our CI/CD studying. I mean this use case, and this will also mark the completion of our Playwright module. Any questions? Any query as of now?
No, okay.
Yeah, Akhil.
Yeah, Hassan, please.
So, then you're going to get started with this Cypress.
I'm going to Cypress. I'm going to start with Cypress maybe from Thursday.
Thursday, right? Okay.
Right, Thursday. Although, see, again, we have to also see how WebDriver IO works, right? On WebDriver IO, we did not complete the Jenkins part, and there we were facing an issue on AWS when we were trying to run it in a separate Selenium grid in a separate module. So I'm looking for a solution for it, and most probably I will have a solution today only. So maybe after tomorrow in the tomorrow's class itself, right? I will cover WebDriver IO also. But again, that's the plan. If it is not gets complete tomorrow class, I'll need one more class just for the WebDriver IO Jenkins integration. Okay, and once that is done, then I will move to Cypress. So either it is Thursday or it is Friday.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay. Okay. Thank you, everyone. If no other queries, let's wrap it up and meet tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.